Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is our fourth call in the Grow series, and tonight we're going to be talking about team building. But let's talk about the hostess coaching from last week. Anyone want to share some wins, some takeaways that they put into play this week that they saw results on? I kind of shared mine on the Grow page the other day, and I told you guys she was at 2 people to workshop, and then I called and thought, well, at first I was like, I'll just wait to start hostess coaching till my next party when I can start from the beginning and like do it all the way through. And then I thought I should just call her and just, start midway and just do it. So that's what I did. And we got up to 5 for the workshop and 5 for the tasting. Her RSVPs, I really have to turn the order in tomorrow. And she has texted me a couple more times, and we're up to 7 workshopping and 7 tasting. So I'm so glad that I listened to Kathy's call last week and put into place some actions that I've already seen huge results on. So I am super excited about that and look forward to some more positives coming from that hostess coaching. So anybody else have anything to share on hostess coaching or even on bookings from the week before?
Yeah, I'll share. I have a few hostesses who I could just not get a hold of. They're like, oh, let's do this date. Then nothing. I could not get a hold of them to save my life. And I stepped out of my comfort zone and boldly told them that in order for them to get out of this event what they want and for it to be worth either of our time, we need to communicate over the phone for a 5 to 10 minute conversation and I set a date. So it was normally within 24 hours or 48 hours of when I said that. And it got all 3 of them on the phone, and they're all excited, like thrilled for their events. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess I just need to grow a bigger pair and be firm with them. But, I'm so easygoing with my business and with my hostesses that I'm like, used to the hostess coaching via text. And I do have that first phone call, but it just has seemed like lately I've just been doing my hostess coaching via text and Facebook message. And there was a huge, huge difference when we got them on the phone. So
yeah, that's what I found too, because that's what I normally do as well, is like an email or text or a Facebook message. And so getting on the phone was a big difference. And then I got another booking this week through an email, and I actually immediately responded and said, hey, do you have time to get on the phone? And so we had a 7-minute conversation, which I think was a game changer. And so, even before we start going here, and I was like, okay, so this is key, is getting on the phone. Tegan, when you went to them and asked them for the phone call, did you do that via the phone or did you do that via a message?
No, just via a text.
Okay.
Yeah, I had tried calling them previously and wasn't able to get them on the phone.
Yeah.
So I just said, hey, listen, we need to have a phone conversation within the next 24 hours. So if I haven't heard from you, I'm going to call you tomorrow. And that's it. I mean, there wasn't any flex. Like, I feel like a lot of times I would be like, okay, call me when you have a minute.
Right.
That's what I would say.
I think, like I was, maybe before we started recording, I had said, I think giving that follow-up, saying I'm going to follow up with you. And that's what you said to them as well is, hey, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to follow up with you again in 24 hours. I think when you help hold them capable of doing that and accountable for it, then you get that interaction. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's start on team building.
Awesome.
Tegan, our amazing director out in Colorado, originally from Kansas City. And our story is unique, and a lot of you have probably heard it, but Tegan was actually my very first rep lead. And I we kind of became acquaintances via Facebook, and I just kept kind of planting a seed or talking to her every now and then supporting her in what she was doing. And eventually, 4.5 years later, she said yes and signed up for WILDTREE. And even when she signed up, she wasn't even going to sell, but then she started seeing the light. And so here she is. So she is amazing and has fantastic tools on team building and has presented at conference with Sonara on this very subject. So you guys are in for a treat tonight. Take it away.
Awesome. So thank you guys all for being here, and also for everyone who listens on playback. I know that's a super popular option. Get out your notes, because I'm sure you're going to take some, and there will be some additional things, resources posted on the Grow Series page. So if I reference something tonight and don't post it, please let me know, because I'm happy to share anything. So first and foremost, kind of with the topic of team building, really just talking about building your confidence in team building. I know that all of us are kind of here for different reasons, and we're also looking at our businesses completely differently. So some people might be here to do one thing a month, and they're perfectly fine with that. And they're like, I'm not super fond of the idea of building a team, or why would I want to build a team? And many of others are here to make a killer income, and the way to do that is to build a team. So this is just going to kind of break down team building with confidence, if you will. So different ways that you can build your confidence in team building, different tips, tricks, and strategies to get your team building momentum increased. So a few confidence tips is to know why you're here. If you have a strong why, and you are confident in your decision to be with WILDTREE and your vision of where you're going, that's going to be projected in your actions, in your tone, in your verbiage that you use with people regarding the business opportunity or the income opportunity, whichever way you want to present that. And also understanding that the business opportunity is the very best thing we have to offer, that there is immense value in the income opportunity. And if this is not true for you, Annie has always said, fake it till you make it. And that's so true here. So if you would like to be making $2,000 a month and that's not your story yet, use the example of my upline, and maybe talking about what she has done or he has done at this point. I need you to leave my office while I'm on the call, please. Thank you. And just use someone else's story. So you can look at that from kind of a sliding scale on people making a couple $100s a month to pay for their kiddos' activities. That's not going to really encompass the realm of team building, all the way up to people making tens of thousands of dollars, which is totally possible with WILDTREE. So if you do not have that story, borrow it from someone else. I do it all the time. So where do you start? What does this look like for you? I posted a couple of different examples on the Grow page of things you can print out. One of them is a dream team list. This exercise is it's fun. It kind of gets you excited about who you want to invite to do this business with you. So the dream team list, it changes every quarter is when I kind of assess mine. This can be comprised of friends, family, old high school friends, college friends, whoever, all the way back to elementary school, people you haven't touched base with in a while, people that you are friends with on social media, successful people in business. It doesn't matter what they do. So kind of a key here is to not prejudge and to write anyone down who you are excited to have on your team. Picture them with their toes in the sand next to you in Panama or wherever the 2019 trip is. Then the next one is an out-of-state contact list. What I love about this one is that it kind of gets your juices flowing on specifically on people who are not in your local sphere, in your local circles of influence. Are my kiddos really loud in the background? No? Okay. This one, it works the same way. So it just gets your juices flowing on who maybe you've had a conversation with. Maybe they're already in your funnel for team building. But I love this out of state one because it paints the picture that we are not a local company. A lot of people have blinders on when it comes to team building. A lot of people think that, oh, I can only invite people into this business if they're local to me. And that's completely the furthest thing from the truth. There's also a huge strategy piece in this, which I love. And that is, print out a map too. Print out a map of the United States and map out where you either already have team for existing reps and existing leaders, or where you want to have a team. Maybe where you have friends and family already planted around the nation, and reach out to those people strategically to invite them into the business. So those are just a few homework pieces that you can work on. There's also one that I posted that's the same as this one, just a local contact list. So I love keeping this with me. I love having this as a breathable document, so I can change it and fluctuate it as the months pass. It's also neat to look back on and see who's on that list and see who's joined from that list. I love that feel. And then next, like I mentioned, I like dividing it up for strategy. Where do I not have someone in the nation? Logistics. If you reach out to someone out of state, inviting them to have a Zoom conversation with you is ideal because they can see your face. And you can even, if it's going to be a week out, send them a $5 Starbucks card and have them pick up coffee and then meet you for the Zoom call. So it's still that kind of fun vibe of we're having coffee together, even though we're across the miles, and we can still see each other's faces. And then the other logistical point is if they are local, then setting up a meeting in person. And then for simplicity, just the list keeps everything organized, keeps you in the know of who's in your funnel, who you've had conversations with, when you've had conversations with them, etc. And then for everyone out there, I'm just going to say this right now. I challenge you to, rather than waiting for the homework piece, because this is such a fun exercise, I challenge you as we're going through this and people are popping into your mind, write them down right now as they come into your mind. And then how to engage. Once your lists are made, how do you reach out to these people? First of all, know your calendar. Know when you're free to set up those booking appointments, and map out on your calendar when you're going to have intentional team building appointments. So it's the same as hostess coaching, the same as actually going to an event and executing an event. You want to map out on your calendar specific team building appointments. This is incredibly important. It doesn't matter if you have one person on your team or you have 100 people on your team, really being in the practice of meeting people in person to talk about the business opportunity. And then from there, engage in meaningful conversation. Ask them questions, open-ended questions, get to know them. Use that same kind of Frank's tool that you would use when you're getting to know someone as a customer, as a hostess. It will paint you a picture of how WILDTREE can best serve them in the income capacity. And again, some people might not want to be invested in WILDTREE for the income right away. Sometimes it takes them doing a party or two, like me, prime example, to see the true value of what the business opportunity has. You can invite them to listen to a pre-recorded opportunity call. You can invite them to, maybe your organization is doing a Discover WILDTREE event on Facebook that's upcoming that you can plug them into. And then a third option would be having a 3-way call with your upline leader if you're not comfortable knowing the ins and outs of the business where you are currently. And then, where do I team build? This is one of my favorite parts of this conversation, is talking about where we team build. We can team build a couple different places. First of all, outside of your events. So there's kind of a fun saying that says, don't go out to prospect while you're out. And this is so true. Everywhere you go, be intentional, be on purpose, make eye contact with people in the grocery store, spark conversation at the park. You never know who you're going to run into who needs WILDTREE. And this has been something that has been so prevalent with moving 2 years ago to a different state. One of the first people that I met, we moved mid-March, and I met a gal on April 1st at the park who joined my team a couple months later. But she needed WILDTREE. She needed this outlet. And it was just through conversation. I didn't say, oh, hey, I do this awesome WILDTREE business and as our income, you need to join me. It wasn't weird or awkward or creepy. It was very organic and authentic, but we just got to know each other. We sparked up a friendship, and that's what really whole thing is all about. We want to be inviting people into the business, and one of the ways to do that is while you're out. So grocery stores, parks, wherever you are, and you meet people, just build a relationship. That's kind of the key principle in all of this, is the relationship piece. And then be prepared. Have a business card on hand. Have something tangible to hand them. This is something that I carry with me. It just says, what was the last $50 purchase you made and how is it working for you? Would you like unlimited income potential, freedom and flexibility, fun, community, and life-changing opportunities? Let's meet for coffee and chat. Has my information on it, and I'll post that so you guys can edit that label. But then it's just an envelope, super simple, cute washi tape. Business card, very simple. A letter that just talks about kind of why WILDTREE. And then the business builder kit, and then the 5 reasons on the back. And that's it. So very simple. I can carry this with me. I can hand it to them, anyone that I meet. And you never know. Some people are more shy, and some people are more like, heck yeah, girlfriend, give me information on what you're doing. I've been looking for something. So if you're not prepared, always get their information, because then the follow-up ball is in your court rather than their court. We can hand our business card left and right to people that we meet, but unless we're getting their information, it's really hard to follow up. More than likely, they will not call you back. Or call you to begin with. And so from there, outside of your event also includes interacting with people and team building on social media. This is a huge exclamation point with where we're headed as a company and what you'll see coming up at National Conference. And I am thrilled and passionate about this topic. Social media is something that WILDTREE is just right on the brink of delving into. And it's something that we as individual business owners can really take charge and be the captains of our own ship with. So if you have a Facebook account, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, whatever social media aspect you are comfortable with, or even if you're not comfortable with it, ask questions. I'm certain that either your upline or one of us knows the answer to whatever you're curious about with as far as staying consistent and posting and utilizing social media to the best of your ability and advantage in this business. And so if you have a customer group, a business page, or even on your personal Facebook, just stay consistent. Stay consistent with sharing WILDTREE in every capacity, including the business capacity. So freedom, flexibility, fun, community, income, things that a project that I've kind of tiptoed starting into is hashtag because of WILDTREE. And it really showcases what the WILDTREE business opportunity has afforded and allowed. And that could be time, that could be flexibility, again, the freedom, the income, any of those things. You know, Annie has a great example with her lake house and with travel and with freedom and flexibility and all these things. And so any aspect of that, if you're consistently sharing it, you will get people interested in the business opportunity based on social media consistency alone. So I highly recommend that and encourage that. And kind of the trick with that is to just be authentic and genuine and consistent, but not overwhelming about WILDTREE, about sharing WILDTREE. So like 1 business post to every 7 personal posts in that range. So you're not posting something 3 times a day about WILDTREE. That's too overwhelming. You're being consistent and you're showing that you're living WILDTREE, and people will be drawn to that. Another thing strategy-wise is just delving into the different aspects of social media. So Facebook is huge, but so is Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube, all of which are barely touched with WILDTREE. So be strategic in that market as well. And then your customer group and your business page strategy with that is to be inviting everyone who attends an event with you to be in those groups. So again, focusing on just sharing recipes, sharing hostess opportunities, sharing income opportunities, those three things. And then the other aspect of team building is we talked about outside your events, and now we're going to talk about at your events. Did you guys have any questions so far before we move on? Okay, so at your events, first of all, be on time. Make your job look easy. Show up with, 1 bag, 2 bags at the most, and just make your job look easy. Make it look fun and engaging. Be the one who greets people at the door. Make eye contact. Your entire goal for your event is to build relationships with every single person there, okay? So you want to be on time. You want to have all your stuff set up ahead of time. You want to stand up and share your story with confidence. And again, if you want to use anyone as an example, do it. If it's not your exact story, it's always nice to have that additional element of sharing someone else's story. So make eye contact again, greet everyone at the door, and really engage with your hostess. So we'll talk about who in just a minute, but also during your demo and presentation, you want to be real with your story. Make it, when people are curious about the income opportunity, they're going to look at it kind of in 2 broken down chunks. They're going to look at it, is it time valuable, and is it financially valuable? So you can cater to different groups with it, like the people within those different groups at your event, by asking questions like, how many of you work full time? How many of you stay home with kids? What is your favorite day of the week? And so you're trying to determine what their source of value is, whether it's time or money. Make sure you have visuals on hand, such as the Business Builder Kit flyer. You could even have the Best of WILDTREE 8-pack that comes in the Business Builder Kit to kind of show value in the kit itself. But really, if you are being authentic with your story and with your connection to people, that's what's going to draw people in, is your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Then during the meal prep and during the shopping piece, you just want to be open in conversation. You want to be engaged with everyone. You want to be asking them questions like, what fun things did you do last weekend? What do you do for work? What are you up to this summer? Things like that. So again, just that relationship building piece. So you are going through the curiosity, the empathy, and then the options piece, like we've learned about with our frameworks training. So you're building trust and getting people curious about what you do. Then at the end of the party and at checkout, you give your information to everyone. So again, that just looks super simple, just like this. Business Builder Kit flyer on one side, 5 reasons why with the recorded opportunity playback on the other side. And then you are using your customer care survey to have conversations about their interest level. So I think I shared this last week during the hostess coaching call, but it's the exact same thing for team building. So let's say they're a 0 on team building. You can ask questions like, can you tell me more about that? Or what does this 0 mean to you? Or is it not now or not ever? Or it looks like you have very little interest in what I do. Is there anything that you saw me do tonight that gets you excited, or that sparks your interest, or that you could see yourself doing? And one thing that Sarah Anderson had shared at a training that we did, which I loved, is that she complimented every person. So, oh my gosh, you're so fun. I could totally see you doing this. Or, oh, like you engaged half the room tonight. I can totally see you rocking this WILDTREE gig. Things like that. So just being really interactive, and the complimenting piece is something that I had never thought of, and it really struck a chord with me, because who doesn't like a genuine compliment. You're watching them throughout the night, you're interacting with them, you're kind of getting to know them a little bit from an outside perspective, and you can come up with one thing about each person that would be a component in them being successful in this business. So think about that kind of in what you do at your checkout process. The scale, like I mentioned in the hostess coaching call, 0, you can use verbiage like, I see you have very little interest. 2 to 4 would be, it looks like you have some interest. 5 to 7 is, it looks like you have quite a bit of interest. And then 7 to 10 is, when do you want to join? Not literally like that, but let's set up a call tomorrow and pull out your calendar, ask them what time works best for them, and get a time set for you to follow up with them immediately. Does that make sense about the scale and verbiage to use? Annie, did you have anything you wanted to add there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So on the 7 to 10, when someone marks like an 8 to 10, I actually, instead of setting up a call, I actually do say, are you ready to get started? I actually do say that first, because some people don't need to think about it. I'm not one of those people. I actually learned that in a training. And I've had people just be like, yeah, let's go, and just tell me what I need to do. And I'm like, okay, fantastic. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And sometimes I feel like if I were to give them more information, they would actually be turned off by that, because they were ready to get going. So if they're marked really high at the party, I'll say, hey, you ready to get started? Let's get you signed up. And then see what they say. And most of the time they're like, well, I need to ask a few questions, and then I set up the call. But I learned that in the last year, probably. I don't know who trained on it, but I thought that was such a great piece of advice, because I normally like to think about things for a little bit, and I wouldn't sign up right away. But to the 25% out there that would, that's a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so I mentioned this on the call, the paper rep agreements are gone at the end of this month. So that used to be a really super simple way. And I actually had that written down until we got that email. But that used to be a really simple way that you could have people sign up right then and there. So what could be something that people do is either take a laptop and have them join immediately. I know some leaders and reps do that just to get them in the moment and get them signed up while they're excited. I do like to have that call, just because it's a strategy piece, with making sure that sometimes in the moment, especially if there's wine involved, people are really excited to join immediately. But if they think about it, they have a 2-week Disney vacation planned, or a knee surgery, or something big coming up where they wouldn't get started right away. And with the way that we are laid out as far as getting reps started strong, and the 35-day window to become a qualified rep, that strategy piece, that conversation really needs to happen, as far as it being mapped out where they're starting strong. So, yeah. Okay. And then.
Are those your kids, Tegan?
Yeah, I'm texting my husband to shut my they're literally like right outside my office. I can't stray far from them. So then, so just communicate your plan of follow-up. Be definitive in when you're following up, and actually do it. Then something that Jen Klein had taught us at that same training with Sarah Anderson here in Denver was to pick 3 people to, at the party or wherever you are, tasting, workshop, anything, pick 3 people that you really identified with, that you were like, man, I just can't stop thinking about them. They would just be killer at this business, even if they were at 0 on the opportunity. And right when you get out to your car, send them a text message and say, I thought of you because, or hey, it was so nice to meet you. I thought of you with, let's see, what is it? Okay. as you know, I hand everyone this information on the business opportunity. And I thought of you specifically because, list whatever it is, I'd love to follow up with you after you have a chance to look at the information I gave you tonight. What time works best for you tomorrow? And just be, again, complimentary. Ask for a follow-up. I know we do that at checkout, but just kind of affirming that and following up with that right then and there. And then the complimentary piece and the fact that you took a moment to text them immediately after the workshop and say, or party, and say, hey, it was so nice to meet you. And then compliment piece, follow-up piece. It's kind of an exclamation point on your business. So I've done it a couple times. Every single person has said, hey, that sounds great, or I'm flattered, or wow, this means a lot to me. So it's always been well received, even if they don't have interest in the business. So it's just yet another gesture, another seed planted, and so on. All right. So, Annie, do you want to add something real quick while I shut my door?
I love that. My son just came home. He was missing for a little bit outside, and I couldn't find him, so he just walked in the door too. So, no, I thought that was great. I heard just a little bit about what Jen Klein said, and I always think when complimenting others and you're being authentic in it, and that they hear that, I think it actually like helps them like put themselves in that position, think about what it would actually be like. And so I think that's a great idea. So I think I might implement that next.
Yeah, like you totally stood out to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't like to hear that, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe it's just me. I would love to hear that.
Right. Awesome. So then a few additional resources. So that's kind of the party. And then of course we could delve into, and this I think should actually be a totally separate call. So I have a team member, now what, and really talk about how to get people started strong and how to really be the best support system to your newbies. And so additional resources. I always have a packet that I carry in my purse, like I showed you guys, and then one to mail out. So the one to mail out looks like this. These envelopes are from mygirlfriendshouse.com. Sounds terrible, but that's the name of it. And then in there, I always put kind of the same thing. So a couple samples, even if it's about the business opportunity, I always include samples. So they have a little recipe attached, business card, another strategy piece, guys, just for anything. It doesn't matter if it's team building or customer relation or whatever, but the magnet on the back. So if you don't have magnet business cards, highly recommend. They can slap it on the side of their fridge and you're always in their mind. And then a handwritten note. So just whatever it's about, handwritten note. And then 3 documents, whatever the customer specials are. Kind of a flyer on, and I'll share this flyer, but this one just talks about what WILDTREE is and what we offer. And then the business builder. Again, same thing, okay? Front and back. And then a catalog. And so this is the same packet I send out to everybody, prospect, whatever it is. This is the difference, the personal note. So this personal note could say, I'm so excited to share this income opportunity with you. I look forward to chatting with you next week, or whatever it is right here. So that's the difference. And then really utilizing the WILDTREE marketing pieces. Like I just talked about, the business builder kit flyer, the recorded opportunity information, and we'll see marketing pieces come down the pipes for sure. Regarding just drip campaign, essentially sharing with people kind of that hashtag because of WILDTREE concept. Different things that WILDTREE income opportunity has meant to people, ways that you can best utilize your business, things like that. So if you have people who are interested in the income opportunity, we have resources such as the compensation chart that's beneficial, knowing the marketing pieces and knowing how and when to share those. I can share a link to my email, as well as anyone can share theirs as well if they would like to do so, that I send out to my potential team members. And it just basically goes through kind of a little bit about my story, different ways that WILDTREE can cater to them and meet them right where they are. And guys, that's the whole point of this, right? We're meeting people right where they are. And if we can get really good at the relationship building and the key knowledge that WILDTREE does cater to everyone right where they are, we're going to be adding people to our teams left and right. Now I say that, and there are seasons where it feels more dry around the holidays. Sometimes people kind of freeze up. Sometimes people go guns a-blazing with joining companies because they want to make additional income for the holidays. So it's all about kind of our perspective and our vibe and our energy about it. And that's kind of the exclamation point on all of this, right? So does anyone have anything that they want a clarification on, or anything that you learned tonight or that you're going to implement?
I would just add, in talking about timing and kind of seasons, like right now in May can sort of be a hard time. So if you've been planting seeds and not hearing a lot of follow-up, don't give up, because normally you'll see those seeds come to fruition in June and July and August and September for sure. So just remember, we're a 90-day business, and those seeds that you guys are planting right now are going to come to fruition 60, 90 days from now, right in time for when we explode in the fall. So team building right now is crucial. So even if you just fill your funnel with people right now. So when they're ready to trickle and start coming in, it will explode, and it'll, be around the same time that we get the app. I think, just as many people as you can get into your funnel right now is so important.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So kind of this homework piece going into the summer, essentially, is to make your dream team list and start reaching out to them. The phone conversations literally look like, hey, Susan, let's say you know them, okay? Hey, Susan, it's Tegan, and I have been doing this amazing business that I'm sure you've seen me post about called WILDTREE, and we offer so many amazing things that cater to everyone right where they are. One of which, and the most impactful, is the income opportunity. I'd love to share it with you if you have 5 minutes to spare. And then when you get them on, if that's a text, then you can get them on the phone and have a conversation with them about the income opportunity. It's all about the I thought of you because. It's all about the confidence in which you speak. If you truly feel that WILDTREE has value in the income opportunity arena, then you will come across like that. And it really honestly doesn't matter what you say, as long as you speak with confidence, you're genuine, and you are genuinely trying to help them or serve them in that arena. Okay.
Yeah. What kind of challenge do we want to do for next week? Because this is really our last call, so it'll be what we post on in the Grow series. So reaching out to at least half the people on your dream team in the next week. It's Memorial Day weekend, so if you're with friends and family, that's a perfect time to talk to some people.
So if your dream team list, if you print out the one that has the pretty picture on it, there are 10 spots. So half of that would be 5, right?
Yep. Yeah.
We can totally do that, right, guys?
I'm going to aim for 5. I have my list going. I was jotting names down as you were talking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 on my list.
Awesome.
So I can do 5. Anyone going to beat me on that?
And your contact list, let's say it's not Dream Team, guys. Your contact list can be anyone that's already in your funnel, anyone that is a 2 or higher on your customer care surveys. Those are kind of shoe-ins. Yes, follow up with them. Anyone who you've spoken with in the past about the business opportunity. It doesn't have to be, hey, I'm interested right now. It could be, oh, let's have a conversation about that sometime. Or, oh, I'm not really interested right now, but follow up with me. Or maybe they've been curious about how much money you make a month, or, just in conversation with friends, family, all of that. Just follow up with those people, add them to your contact list specifically for the business opportunity.
Yeah. One other thing I would add is I kind of go through seasons myself where, especially if I'm not booking at my parties, and so then I have to spend my time on the phone trying to get bookings, then I've realized that I'm not spending my time on the phone doing my team building calls. And so then my team building goes down. So then I get my bookings back up. And so then when I'm not spending time on my bookings, then I'm spending more time on my team building. And when I spend that time on my team building, that's when I have people to show for it. So there is for sure, without a doubt, a correlation. So if you're not spending time on your team building and literally reaching out to people and just following up with them, inviting them to different events, telling them about our new product coming out, seeing if they want a new catalog, whatever it is, if you're not spending time there and talking to them about it, you're for sure going to not have any recruits. I mean, it's easy as that. And I'm just going to be honest about it, but I've seen it in my own business. When I don't spend time there, I don't have people just knocking at my door randomly. It's when I'm spending time there, that's when I see the results. So I would just really encourage everyone to think about that and really make sure that you are spending adequate time there.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what, guys, I totally realized that I skipped over one of my bullet points in this training, and that is the who. We talked about following up with people from your customer care surveys and people who are already in your funnel, essentially, that you've had a conversation with. But I want to put emphasis on making sure that you're having a conversation before the workshop or the tasting with your hostess. And I know Kathy mentioned this as well last week in hostess coaching, but that is a huge exclamation point. Not only local hostesses, but especially hostesses that are long distance that you're videoing in for. There's nothing more kind of an aha for your hostess than realizing what she could benefit from income-wise off of her own party. So if you are not sending out an email to your hostess following up with the party also, I would recommend that. Just saying, hey, Susan, I just wanted to share with you just this fun fact I share with all my hostesses, and that is what it would have looked like for you if you had been the rep on your party, and then give the breakdown, what she would have earned in commission, plus the hostess credit benefits, and the booking benefits. Let's say 3 or 4 people booked at her party, or 2 people or 6 people or however many, those would have been bookings on her calendar instead of yours. So that's a huge kind of eye-opener for your hostess to say, oh wow, this would have been really beneficial. Back to that beginning conversation when you're setting up your event and your hostess coaching, that conversation is probably the most simple conversation to have about the business opportunity, to be honest. And if you're not having it, I would start immediately. And that can look like a phone conversation before the event, and just say, hey, Susan, I touch base with all of my hostesses on the business opportunity before your event, just to gauge your interest level. Do you have any interest in doing what I do? Do you have any interest in earning an income with WILDTREE? And let them kind of talk themselves into it, or explain to you why, or share with you, why not. But really outline to them what that would look like. So let's say that they are somewhat interested, but they're unsure of how their friends and family will receive it. That's a huge factor, right? We hear that all the time. And so I just say, let's use your party as a gauge. And when everyone's there, then you can say, ask them permission to say this, but you can say, hey, everyone, Susan is thinking about doing what I do. Who would want to be one of Susan's first hostesses? And see how many people raise their hands. And then applaud that and say, oh my gosh, Susan, check this out. Look at this room, you have 4 hands raised here. This is amazing. Like, how exciting to start your business knowing you have business. That's unheard of, right? And it's that opportunity is pretty much only open to our hostesses, right? To get those bookings. I think that's a really big deal and something that we can definitely use as a strategy piece and as a celebratory piece when we talk to our hostesses.
Yep.
And also have that conversation the day of. So if you didn't have it on the phone, when you show up early to get set up, hey, I just want to touch base with you and see if you had any interest in doing what I do. It'll kind of change the conversation and the trajectory of this event. So I wanted to make sure that if you were interested, you spoke first, because let's say there are 3 people who want to book and 2 people are interested in joining, that would change the dynamics of what this looks like. So I want to run that by my hostesses first and foremost every single time. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Very good. Any other questions to wrap up? Well, you guys, thank you everyone who's watching on playback and everyone who is here live. Thank you for joining us for the series. We would love to hear your feedback on if you thought this was helpful for you guys, like just mastering the basics. That was the plan. And I would really challenge you to go back to that original checklist that we sent out and kind of see, what have you implemented and how has that helped you to master the basics? Your feedback will help, because we're talking about, should we do this again? We're going to take a break for June for sure. But then after conference, we might revisit and just do this again. And I really think it's helpful because I think you learn, a little nugget every time. So I know I do anyway, for sure. So
for sure.
So that's kind of what we're thinking, but we would love to hear from you. So just reach out to your upline leader and let them know kind of your thoughts. Even just a quick message would be fantastic. So anything else before we say goodnight? All right. We'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.